We are.
Can we live on both platforms?
Most High Christ. 1 second. Shalom, Israel. We're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We've been on these streets since 1969, trying to wake up the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to let them know that you are the true Jews of the Bible. To let them know, basically, today's class, what we're gonna cover is your oppressor will never give you first off, the title of this class is mainly what's it called? Your oppressor won't help you because he doesn't know what's called. Your oppressor won't help you mainly because because he doesn't want to. Why doesn't he want to? Why?
Because he's the enemy. He's the oppressor. He is like the Hispanic Native Indians.
Give me better than that. Why?
He doesn't want to help us because basically he's a rulership. He's a power. So if he helps us, it's only gaining. We're going to benefit from it.
You're kind of there, but a little more. You're kind of there. Like he's in rulership, so if he helps us, benefit. But it's a little more than that because helping us benefits him too. You realize he made a lot of Michael Jackson. What's called Pepsi made a lot of money off Michael Jackson.
Right.
Beach by Dre is no longer owned by Dre. So Apple owns it. A bunch of white people, right? So why would he never help us?
Because he's the wicked.
Well, you got to give me more. Okay, that's not exactly it. Give me a little more because you're on it with because it would benefit us and so on and so forth. Why? Like, for instance, why did our oppressor have to go to war with himself to end slavery, to end chattel slavery, so to speak?
Repeat the question.
Why did our oppressor have to go to war? Why was the Civil War fought? Why did our oppressor not in the South not want to give up his slaves?
Because he doesn't want to work for himself.
Give me a little more. You're on it. So in having you work for him for little to nothing, who benefits? Who benefits?
He does.
Exactly. That's why. And everything that goes on with our oppressor, understand, he will never help you specifically if it doesn't benefit him. And another thing you have to understand is that would be with any oppressor. But the one we're dealing with or forced to deal with is one who not only do I need to benefit, you need to suffer at my benefit. Like, yeah, Khan. Like, he'll only pay you a nickel if he knows for sure you can't survive with that. If there's a way you can live off a penny and stack your nickels or your 4 cents, he's not paying you that. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't benefit him. Why? Because at the end of the day, you might be able to take all those 4 cents and create a business of your own. Now I have no one to work for me. Right? And that's what you have to understand about him. Give me 58 and 3.
Psalm chapter 58, verse 3. Are estranged from the womb.
The wicked are estranged from the womb. What does estranged mean? You come. Okay? Now that's what you need to understand. Like, what's it called? Basically, what we're talking about today is this critical race theory and why critical race theory will never help us. Why critical? First thing we're going to do is explain to you why our oppressor doesn't like critical race theory and why he's against it. I basically gave you the answer, so I'll repeat it again. Critical race theory is does not benefit our oppressor. It actually hurts our oppressor. Okay? And that's why he hates it. He hates critical race theory because at the end of the day, he'll be destroyed by it. It shows him in a negative light. And you can't do that with our slave master. Our slave master cannot be shown in a negative light. You got it?
God is estranged, Slav. No longer close or affectionate.
No longer what?
No longer close or affectionate to someone alienated.
Keep going.
No longer living with this False. That's the one.
Meaning, okay, meaning what? There's someone who's cut off. So read that again in the scriptures, 58:3.
The wicked are estranged from the womb.
The wicked are estranged from the womb, right? They're cut off from the womb, right? Keep going.
They go astray as soon as they be born.
They go astray. They don't stay right, right? The wicked are estranged from the womb. Most High doesn't deal with them. Why? Because they're wicked. Okay, we read a few weeks ago, earlier in the month, about Black Wall Street and how they had little children out of the event when they were burning down a black town. Like you had little white children ready to kill grown men and women and other children, right? Read that from the top.
God on God. The wicked are estranged from the womb.
The wicked are estranged from the womb. This is what this is talking about. The Bible is real. Okay, the Bible knows the so-called white man. Our people have been dealing with them for centuries. Okay, they are estranged from the womb. Okay, the people who deny the 1619 project and critical race theory are children who were who accepted the racist teachings of their parents. It's not a coincidence. People think that because you were raised by a racist, that's what made you a racist. That's not true. Okay, this was born inside of our oppressor. He doesn't know another way to be. Keep going.
Salakia, speaking lies. Verse 4.
They go astray, Salakia.
They go astray from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born.
They go astray as soon as they be born. Right? As soon as they be born. Keep going.
Speaking lies.
Speaking lies. So what meaning what? Don't even trust the smile of a white baby. Right? You see a white baby, understand that baby is a liar.
Right.
Right? That's what the Bible says. That's not my words. That's what the Bible just said. Who are these wicked that are born this way? You're telling me that there's someone born evil? But yes, that's what I am saying, because God just said it. They are estranged from the womb. Right? So we should find out who these people are who are estranged from the womb. It's our oppressor. We've already done the research. This is who it's talking about. Keep going.
Verse 4. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent.
Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. Right? You get it, it comes, it's quick, it's fast, and you're dead. Because why is it comparing it to a serpent? You ever felt a snake? Snakes feel very pretty. Any person who's never seen a snake might be enamored by a snake. Somebody who's not familiar with a snake's mannerisms, right, and how a snake actually behaves, might think a snake is cool because it's nice and scaly, it feels good, it has a good feel to it, has a nice texture, until it bites you. That's our oppressor. Our oppressor gives you democracy. Our oppressor, quote unquote, gives you a fair trial. Oppressor gives you the right to a fair trial, I believe is what it's called. But we don't give fair trials. For the last century, black farmers have been complaining that the United States Department of Agriculture has been ignoring them. And you think this is a recent finding by the Department of Justice? No. If it is a recent finding, that's because they kept ripping up and throwing out all the other lawsuits. Right? But what's cool? That's what happens with the serpent. You go, you think it's cool until he bites you. Keep going.
They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear.
An adder is another word for a snake. Verse 5.
5. Which will not hearken to the voice of charmers.
Which will not hearken to the voice of charmers. Come. She won't listen to a charmer. Meaning what? What does that mean?
Meaning that snake won't listen to your pleading cries. He'll kill you.
Right. Now let me explain something to you. The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we do not necessarily care about critical race theory or the 1619 project being taught specifically inside of the school system. Okay? I do not necessarily need my oppressor to know my pain. He's my oppressor. Like, that's really what we're doing. This is more hands up, don't shoot. We shall overcome. And marching. That's what this is, really more of that. Right? In actuality, here's who needs critical race theory in the 1619 project: blacks and Hispanics. There are blacks and Hispanics who will sit there and deny the 1619 project. The 1619 project, for those who don't aware, is basically the idea that America was basically built off slavery, right? The idea that in 1619, when supposedly the first slave ships started to come in, that's perpetuated an ongoing cycle that has kept itself alive simply by the destruction of blacks and Hispanics, right? Then many of our people will deny this, right? And we know this for a fact because we've been saying this since 1969.
Right.
We've been saying that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true Jews of the Bible.
Right.
Okay? We've been saying this, we've been saying that, what critical race theory is, decades before there even was such a thing as critical race theory. Okay? So what? What is the charming talking about? A deaf adder. A deaf adder is a snake. Just like how they have cats today that will go up and they'll be playing a flute, right, to charm the snake and get it to come out the little basket and do whatever. What's it saying? What's it saying? The snake's deaf though. So no matter what you do to try to charm the snake will never hear you. It's just gonna bite you.
Right.
Right? And that's what happens. We'll march, we'll sing, we'll dance, we'll tear down the CVS, have white people come and burn down the police station, right? Have all this nonsense happen, but at the end of the day, it changes absolutely nothing. Like, y'all think George Floyd scared police? Y'all think Derek Chauvin's guilty verdict scared the police department? It hasn't. Okay, keep going.
Oh God, charming never so wise. Like charming never so wisely.
Never so wisely. Y'all stupid. You can't charm. Y'all, it's foolish. There is no charming that will work on a deaf snake. There is no note that you can play for a deaf snake. Just like there is no song, there is no march, there's nothing you can really burn down, technically, that can stop our oppressor from killing us. Here's what you can do: get in class.
That's right.
And burn down the spirit of white supremacy inside of you and then inside of our nation. That's how you stop white supremacy. That's how you stop our oppressor. But charming him will never work. Charming him just shows you're a good slave. And that's great for him. Because he now knows I can do whatever I want to you. The snake can't bite you if you're running away from it. So if you go from charming the snake to running away from the snake won't be able to bite you.
Right.
Right? Read verse 6.
Come on, verse 6. Break their teeth, O Most High, power in their mouth.
Break their teeth in their mouth. Keep going. Break their teeth, O God, power in their mouth. Keep going.
Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Most High, power.
Okay, what does that mean? What does this say? How do we stop our oppression? How do we stop our oppression? How do we get kind?
By following the law, statutes, commandments of the Most High and separating from them.
Okay, is that what this said? You're not wrong, but is that what this said?
Oh, Salakia.
Come.
Break their teeth, mean like break their power, like take them out of power?
No. Come.
If I can make it one more shot.
Come.
Break their teeth, oh power in their mouth, meaning.
So how are we gonna stop them? Or stop our oppression? Like I said, you had it right the first time. But I want what's in the verse.
God. By not dealing with them.
Is that what's in the verse? What does the verse say?
Verse 6.
Yeah, verse 6.
By breaking their teeth.
No. Breaking their teeth is gonna happen. Breaking their teeth is gonna happen, but that's not how we're gonna be saved. People who go out trying to kill white people all the time. But what makes the difference? What's going to work this time? Like I said, you had it right the first time.
By us separating upon the Lord's statutes commandments.
And then, I'll give it to you. God's going to do it.
God.
That's what you need. Always look at what's exactly in the verse. Right? Right there, cheat power. He doesn't say, let's get together and do it. Let's formulate a plan. Let's create a special council. Break their teeth power. And that's what you need, what our people need to understand. We should not be trying to come up with some critical race theory that we can teach inside of a school, right? To try to change the mind of our oppressor. Read verse 3 from the top.
Verse 3.
Why? Read 3.
The wicked are estranged from the womb.
We're dealing with a people that were evil from birth. Right? Really conception. The womb is conception. Right? That's what we're dealing with. The only one who can stop that is God. You cannot sin your way out of oppression. Right. No one has ever done that. Right? Keep going. Wait, verse 6. Back to verse 6.
Verse 6.
Well, actually, no, that's good enough. Give me 28 and 30. Okay? And now understand, this is what they don't want to acknowledge inside of schools. They don't want to acknowledge the pain that happened to you. But I got a question. If that's the case, can we move to take the Holocaust out of schools? I had some devil or whatever come in my class talking about what hard people went through in some goddamn European country called Kosovo or whatever the hell. Can we stop that? Right? Because that creates more division. Right? Because why are we learning about the Holocaust? What if the Jewish kids now want to fight the German kids? Right? What's it called? Keep going. Read what you got.
Okay, so you said 28 and 30? What?
Yeah, count 28 and 30.
What book?
Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 28 and 30. And that's the problem. They don't want your pain recognized. Okay? Because your pain means something. Because you have to understand, in pain, there's a lot of things that come with it. Mainly, they got to pay for that.
Right.
Right? If you understand and know, we did evil to these people, you'd have to pay for that. Right? And that's what they don't want. They discovered that for a century, they were illegally mistreating black farmers. And a court of this nation, the same court responsible for the Constitution, said this was wrong and we need to fix it. Only for white farmers to come back and say this is unconstitutional for us. And that's the problem. You cannot serve in a nation that was not built for you. This nation was built for the white farmer. So of course he's going to get his case heard. But my question is, why didn't it take 100 years? Sure.
Repeat the question.
Why didn't it take 100 years? What exactly are you? Con. They know you busy on like you reading all that, right? Con, let them know, cause Con.
Well, that's because they don't care, sir.
Okay, but give me a little more.
Repeat the question.
Meaning, why didn't it take white farmers 100 years to get their case heard, but it took black farmers 100 years?
Because it's like what you were saying earlier, sir. It would benefit us more, and they would be losing out. Like they don't want competition.
Right. That's exactly it. At the end of the day, they never wanted us in the system. So let's keep the system the way it is. Right? And that's critical race theory, or how critical race theory is being looked at. Let's leave things the way they are, because this will cause division. But now let me ask you, critical race theory is the idea that America itself is divided and was created this way. But somehow teaching about said division will create division. Critical race theory is bringing out, yeah, there's a disparity in housing markets. Like banks won't give black people housing loans to move into certain communities. Therefore, communities are divided. We need to teach about this so that we can go on to fix it. But that will create division. How? Things are already divided. These two, okay, we got these two bottles right here. These two bottles have always been separated. But if we if we put the bottles together, the bottles might fight each other. And no, the bottles might be separated or divided. Aren't they already? Right? This is critical race theory. This is their argument for it. Here's the truth, and I said this at camp. They don't want their son looking at my son, what's called finding out all the evil that their son did to mine. Right. That's the truth. Let's have a classroom for little Hispanic kids, find out that their grandmothers were hung up by one foot, had a rusty blade put to their stomach, and their uncles and what's called uncles and so on and so forth were stomped out with a steel-toe boot. Let's see if Hispanic kids like white kids after that. Let's see if black kids in Florida are cool with white kids, and when they find out that Floridans used to take little black babies and use them as alligator bait. And then the state of Florida used to put that on postcards. Florida was proud that they used to feed children alligators. Right? This is what critical race theory is about. This is the 1619 project. Right? Let's have a discussion with black kids and white kids how white people used to take black people's skin and use it for leather. Right? Let's see if black people want to deal with white people after that. You're right. It would divide us as a nation. But here's the problem. That division would be in my interest, not yours. I might actually see you're a filthy, disgusting animal. Here's the truth. All these senators, all these congressmen, all so on and so forth, know full well about the leather. You think the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, these men are educated. They aren't idiots. You think they don't know Florida's history of feeding babies to alligators? They're fully aware of it. Georgia just signed into law a voter restriction bill. You know what they have in the background? A picture of a plantation. They know what happened to you. They know this information. Read verse 28 and 30.
So according to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 30, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lay with her.
Shall lie with her. They know about the rampant rape that went on during slavery. They know about the ill treatment that our women had during slavery, how they were made into whores. Right? Keep going.
Thou shalt build an house.
Thou shalt build a house, right?
And thou shalt not dwell therein.
What does that mean? We could take that figurative. We built the White House.
Right.
Slaves built the White House. We don't dwell in that there. Obama is not our people. Okay? And his goddamn filthy wife, that is our people. But the thing about her, why I call her disgusting, she want to help some fat kids before she want to help black people. She said nothing about getting her husband to pass legislation about police brutality. You know what happened during her husband? Trayvon Martin, Sandra Bland, Mike Brown, the list goes on.
Right.
Right? She did absolutely nothing for them. I think Fruitvale Station also happened during Obama. The brother who was shot when they said it was a taser.
Right.
Yeah, for those who don't know, your vice president helped that devil get off basically with time served. Yeah, that devil is not sitting in a jail cell right now. That devil is out somewhere in California living his life for killing my brother, quote unquote, accidentally. Right? You don't dwell in that house. What else does that mean? You helped build this country up into a great superpower by your people being on a plantation. Now, 100 years later, it's racist to give you a home, give you farmers' benefits that your ancestors have been owed for 100 years, because the race that was, what's the word I'm looking for? Not necessarily unjustly, but one-sidedly getting all the help might be hurt a bit. That's the point. If I say you each get 5 pieces of something, and I give everything to him, at some point I'm gonna have to come back and say, yo, you gotta give me that back, and that has to go to him. You can't just keep the 10, right? But that's what our oppressor wants to do. Why? Because he doesn't care. He doesn't want to help you. Helping him hurts you. If I help you, grow broccoli, that's less broccoli I'm gonna sell. Right? At the end of the day, even if I don't have your you don't have my contract. I have a contract with Whole Foods. They'll buy all my broccoli, right? Here's what's gonna happen though. I'm gonna team up with a black grocery store, and we're gonna fill his grocery store. And then all those black Whole Food customers will start going to a black grocery store. Then what? Whole Foods will lose money. And then when Whole Foods lose money, I don't need this amount of broccoli. I need less. So you just lost money. That doesn't benefit our oppressor. So they won't help us. Right? Keep going.
Okay. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof.
You benefit off the work you do inside of this country. Like I just said with the plantation, we did all that work. Okay? All these inventions that come from our people, we don't benefit off them. Brothers are saying there's multiple farms like that people just had to give up. Why? Because of this. Because they weren't getting help from the government that they were owed. The government won't give them the money, but they'll take the taxes, right, from a failing farm that they won't help. Keep going.
Verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof.
You will not benefit off your labor. Keep going.
Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face.
Actually, go to 32.
Verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people.
Now, what is this talking about? This is talking about what's called people being kidnapped.
Right.
It's also talking about the education system. These aren't our children. These are American children, right? We're Americans ourselves, but our whole system wasn't based off us. Our children aren't taught our culture. Our culture gets erased every year inside these school systems. They don't want to teach the truth of us, right? They teach you about the slaves. They don't teach you about Nat Turner. They don't teach you about Toussaint Louverture, right? But they'll definitely teach you about Napoleon. Keep going.
And thine eyes shall look, and fill with longing for them all the day long.
For those who don't know, the Toussaint Louverture is the person who beat Napoleon. Napoleon had an unbeatable record. I think he even defeated the Russians, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, right? Which is a big thing for those who don't know. Russia is very hard to defeat because of their cold climate. Try marching 5,000 soldiers into Russia and see if all your men don't start complaining that it's 10 below zero. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, he was able to beat Russia, took his behind down to Haiti and got kicked out. Yeah, Toussaint Louverture, if you're not familiar. Okay. Okay, keep going.
And there shall be no might in thine hand.
There shall be no might in thine hand. We don't even have the power to control our child's curriculum. Understand what I said. I don't have the ability to control what my child is taught inside of school. Let's take it off of race and history. I'm being forced basically to send my child to an institution that'll teach him it's okay for him to be a woman.
Right.
Even though that goes against my culture. My culture is that's not okay.
Right.
That's against my religious beliefs. That it's not okay. And this is the problem with this country. It's a lie. Because if there was freedom of speech, you wouldn't be able to force me to teach my child something against my religion. I teach my child that a homosexual should be killed.
Right.
Your school system can't teach anything other than that. Here's what your school system technically could teach. They exist. That's it. because I'm going to have to do it. They exist, but we believe they deserve death, right? But I'm forced to teach another way. I'm forced to have my history removed. This is what they don't want in 1619 project. In the this is what they don't want in critical race theory. Keep going.
Verse 33. The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up.
And here's the problem. That nation doesn't want to recognize everything they have, all the food on their table was stolen from ours. They don't want to recognize that. They don't want to recognize what's called the evil that was done to the Native Indians up in Canada and here in the States. America's no different. It's just America's smart enough to know, those are sacred sites. Those are government sites. Meaning what? We're not going to let you dig up ish to find no Indian bodies. We already know what them bodies is buried there. Look up the Devil's Punch Bowl. What is that? The Union soldiers, meaning United States soldiers, right? Not the Confederacy, the United States after the Civil War, massively took thousands of black people, shut them up inside of a trench, right? And let them starve and die. Just sit there for weeks and starve and die. Those people begged to get out from the horrible conditions. That area now grows peaches. No one will eat the peaches because they know the fertilizer is black bodies. They don't want this taught in your school. Why? Because my son will snuff yours. The minute that bell rings and your son walks out, your son don't have to walk out to school. Your son don't have to walk out the hallway problem. There will be a fight in the class. You tell my child that. Okay? And that's the problem. And it's beautiful. Why is it beautiful? Because you're seeing America come undone by the seams. This nation is falling. Piece by piece. Right? Keep going.
And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always.
And that's what we are here in America. And that's what they don't want to. That's the real truth. Thou shalt be what?
And thou shalt be only oppressed.
Only oppressed. Keep going.
And crushed always.
Only. That is the only state you will be in. Oppressed and crushed always. I saw some idiot on Facebook one time put up a picture of like Floyd Mayweather. Like imagine Floyd's at like the end of this table, like right over here, like right here, right? And the whole table has nothing but hundreds, like stacks of hundreds and all that. Some idiot had the nerve to ask, does he look oppressed? What would you say if you saw that, Shaw?
I would say no, he doesn't look oppressed.
He doesn't look oppressed to you?
Nah.
He looks oppressed to me. Floyd Mayweather.
Well,
he got a stack of money on his, what's it called? Right? That's probably like, so that's like $1 million on that, or $500,000 on the table. Right? Is he oppressed? You would say no. It's okay. What's it called? That's his final answer. No.
Well, I mean, with all that money he get, I mean, he still has problems.
No, I'm not oppressed. He's oppressed just like you and me.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about just like you and me. Like he's worse off than us. With all that, he's worse off. You know why? It's only one question I got for you. One question. Where'd all this come from?
The oppressor.
Really? No. Oppressor's just giving out millions of dollars. Where did Floyd Mayweather get all that money? Or how did Floyd Mayweather get all that money?
By him boxing, by him
You mean taking head trauma? You mean destroying his body? You ever heard of this guy called Muhammad Ali? Yeah. You ever seen him pass like what, 95? Right. Really, the 80s. He looked like a healthy person. He looked like a person who probably, if he was in his right state of mind and could go back to being like 18, maybe I should go back and do all that head trauma for all this money. You realize boxers, because of their lifestyle and because of the life they kind of have to live, because when you're somebody like Jay-Z, like who makes money and is in that money life, People look at them partially like they're stupid. Like, why are you spending all that money? Nobody associates with a broke person. I'm sorry. If I'm a real estate investor and I dress like a brokest, I don't know what I'm doing, right? Let Donald Trump go in a $100 suit. That cat's broke. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's lost it, right? So what does that mean? These cats do all that, and then by the time they're ready to retire, many of them are broke. That's why a lot of them make bad decisions and then end up getting in the ring past their time. And then brothers have to go and explain it's because not only are they also broke, after all that head trauma, you don't make good decisions. So when a nigga comes saying, yeah, I know you're about $1 million in debt, I got 10 million for you right now. I know you can barely talk and half the day you know because you have many strokes, but yeah, here's that in your hand, sign this contract. Your wife's arguing with you and you ain't in the house. You already know you're about to get your behind work. I need the money though. And Floyd Mayweather's not oppressed. Let me see Floyd Mayweather in 10 years when he doesn't have it anymore. The brothers will tell you, once you use that thing in your head, that reflex, yeah, you shouldn't be in a boxing ring. Once you lose that reflex that lets you be able to read somebody's shoulder, you're messed up. You shouldn't be fighting. Because once you can't tell this, once you can't see this and react, yeah, you're getting hit. And hit, and hit, and hit. One time they put Muhammad Ali in the ring with his old sparring partner. His sparring partner was obviously his man's. I'm fighting Muhammad Ali getting easies in. Told the white referee, you're going to stop this? Shut up and keep fighting. Why? Because they don't care. And it's not even boxing. Not only black athletes go in and are destroyed, boxing, how many football players go out and leave with concussions? They can't do manual labor, and many of them was never book smart to begin with. That's why they over there chucking a goddamn football, right? You destroy these people's lives, right? And then guess what? They get to eat off the table. Cool. These cats, they don't even play college basketball players and all that. But they get to make millions off college basketball jerseys. In actuality, if that's the case, how about this? Why can't that go to my tuition? Why can't that go to the city? Right. I got this nice big campus in this city. Well, shoot, the lower MAC taxes, all them jerseys, I'll buy 3 jerseys if you tell me them jersey sales go to the city. Right? Keep going.
Verse 34.
You could drop that. Give me 43.
Verse 43. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high.
And that's what you have to understand. These other nations do not need critical race theory. These other races were allowed to flourish inside of America. They did theirs through crime, though. The Chinese triad, the Italian mafia, the Irish mafia, the Jewish mafia. There's an Amish mafia. Right. There is an Amish. You believe in electricity, but I'm going to move this. Wait, though. It is a sin for me to use an electric oven, but I'm going to cut up this Coke. You sell a dime bag, my guy. Mind you, they have their own communities. They're cut off and all that, right? You sell a dime bag, they're raiding your block, right? Keep going.
And thou shalt come down very low.
And thou shalt come down very low, right? What does that mean? These other races get to benefit off civil rights. Like, understand, you're familiar with affirmative action? The idea, for those who aren't, basically, long story short, yeah, you need to hire some black people. Basically, that's why you'll see sometimes black people don't want to be what's called tokens. Basically, this company's just hiring me because I'm black. I ain't got a problem with that. Are you paying me the same amount as a white man? Yes, I ain't got a problem with that. I'll be the only black person in this office. Get the money. Our oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. So here's what I understand what you're saying. You wanna stand up and be a voice and show you won't be treated. What are you gonna do? One of two things is gonna happen. You just gonna be broke, and a white man's gonna take your job because no black person wants it, and that's gonna be their excuse. Or somebody who hates their people is gonna take your job, and that's it. All she wrote. Somebody of our people that hates our people. A coon, basically. I don't know if we can say that though. God. You finished 44? Give me
43.
Okay, Con, give me 44.
44. He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him.
Meaning what? We're underneath all these nations, and we have to beg all these nations. Lend can also mean in this sense like buy. We are not producers. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians produce nothing. They won't even allow Jamaica sell bananas or Mexico sell corn, right? Keep going. Yeah, Con.
He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail.
You realize who the head and the tail is when you're getting in the nail salon and in the beauty salon. Give me 64.
Verse 64. And the Most High shall scatter thee among all people.
The Most High is going to scatter you among all people. Keep going.
From the one end of the earth unto the other.
Right.
And there thou shalt serve other gods.
You can drop that. Give me 68. Now, he's going to scatter us to everybody, right? We're amongst everybody. We're everybody's whipping boy, right? Keep going.
And the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships.
With what?
With ships.
With what?
With ships.
Egypt again with ships, right? Egypt is another word for bondage. Our oppressor knows how we got here. He knows all of this. He knows our women were raped. He knows our children were violently taken from us. He knows about all the lack of justice we got in this system. He knows about the racist policies that kept our nation down. You know why he's not going to do anything about it? Because of that, he benefits. Okay? Now, like I said, I kind of got off track, but affirmative action, how they get to be above us, right? Affirmative action is they have to hire a minority. Here's the problem, though. Asians in Stanford and all these big Ivy League schools, affirmative action. The Asians are using what you fought for. And when I say fought, weeks, months, and years in jail to get that civil rights bill passed, right? Beatings. Brothers was bitten and mauled by dogs. Beamed with fire hoses. Right. Whatever other evil atrocities have not been mentioned or aren't known. But an Asian gets to quickly and easily strut into these universities off the backs of our labor. Right. Affirmative action, honestly, should only be for black people. If Asians want something, they can take their ass on a march. Right. Like we did. I want to see Asians get bit by German shepherds. Right. Like we did. I want to see their leaders get shot inside of a hotel. Like ours did. We don't support Martin Luther King, but at the end of the day, he was a black man who, in his own way, tried to help black people. Right? Let's see that happen in the Asian community. Before y'all go ahead stealing our accomplishments for your own benefit and giving us none. Because understand, we talk about our oppressor like it's the Caucasian or it's the European. All of these nations are our oppressors. Right. If you've done business with the United States government, you have oppressed black people. Right? Keep going.
By the way, whereof I spake unto thee, right? Thou shalt see it no more again.
And that's the problem. We don't see it no more again. Why? Because our nation was erased. And they don't want it to come back. So they will never teach such a thing as a critical race theory. Keep going.
And then ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
You shall be sold to your enemies for bondmen, for bondwomen, meaning slaves. Keep going.
And no man shall buy you.
Shall what?
Buy you.
Shall what?
Buy you.
Buy in this instance means to redeem. No man's going to actually sit there and do the work to help you. Right? No man's going to do all that research to help you. No man is going to do whatever it needs to be to get you out of this situation. Right? Give me Exodus 20 and 16. So when we look at it, we look foolish. When we look for that, we look foolish. Exodus 20 and 16. Because our people need to understand what happened to us was unlawful. Was a crime. The Bible does not support the enslavement of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And we're going to prove it. Keep going.
Exodus chapter 20.
21, verse 16.
21, verse 16.
We're going to go to 20 after that, though. So.
And he that stealeth a man.
So he that what?
Stealeth a man.
Basically kidnapping. Keep going.
And selleth him. Or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
And selleth him, meaning kidnapping for enslaving a person, right? You die for that. Our oppressor deserves death for what they did to us. They don't deserve to have a class taught so we can all sing and hum. Because let me explain this to you. Republicans think division will be caused by 1619. Republicans think that critical race will cause blacks and whites to start fighting each other. Here's what's going to happen. Our two people will just start hugging each other and crying. Like, I'm so sorry this happened to you, even though I'm willing to do nothing to change it. Right? I say this all the time, and this is the main thing you can tell a white person to show and see that they will never want to help you. What happened to a white person says what happened to you is evil. Or oppressor says what happened to you is evil. Right? And I wish it could be changed. You can change it. Leave America. This land belongs to Native Americans. Why are you on stolen land? They're going to give you a song and dance about how they're not going to go back to their country of origin. Right? That's what happens. Okay? This is what this verse is talking about. What's called death, a punishment for the evil that you do. And why else did I bring this out? Because people think that our oppressor supports this book and stands by this book. This book, they don't really stand by this book. Because if they did, they wouldn't have done what they did to us. Right? They wouldn't do all the filthy. This book is against rape. Right. So all the rape that happened in slavery, they're not with this book. Because obviously they wouldn't have committed it. They're hypocrites. They're liars. You don't think they lie about the quote-unquote religion they serve?
Right.
Like, people don't even think about that. Everything that comes out of white man's mouth is a lie. But the fact that the white man loves Jesus, that has to be true. The fact that the white man holds a Bible and says, I believe in this book, that has to be true. Right? Give me, now drop that, give me 20 and 13, Exodus.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not what?
Kill.
What?
Kill.
Our oppressor did much killing during our captivity. Right here?
Right.
Right? But here's the thing. They don't want this talked about. Why? Because then we might want justice for all that death.
Right.
Right? Here's the problem. That's why I read 58 earlier. Because God needs to break their teeth. That's the point of this. Critical race theory will not fix America. A politician will not fix America. A black mayor, and we're going to show that in a minute, will not fix America. Only the Most High God breaking the teeth of this empire is what's going to fix our conditions here inside of this nation. Right? Give me verse 15.
Verse 15. Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not what?
Steal.
Shalt not what?
Steal.
You are not allowed to steal anything. Right? Meaning like a person.
Right.
Like their land. Like their children. Like their wife's sanctity. Right? You cannot steal these things. Right? But they don't want this talked about. Why am I bringing this up? Because the Southern Baptist Convention, mind you, that's the religion of the Ku Klux Klan. You can look that up. Said it's racist, it's a heresy to talk about race inside of the church. But this book is about a race of people. We're in the book of Exodus, which is about one God saving one race from another race. Right? Okay? What's it called? But you can't talk about race in the Bible. That's a heresy, or in the church. That's why, here's what you need to understand. The Christian church is white supremacy. It is the home of white supremacy, the Christian church. Okay? Now, drop that. Give me Ecclesiastes 7 and 13. Okay? Ecclesiastes 7 and 13. We're going to get this. Okay? Now, what's it called? A mayor will not help us. Okay? All these things will not help us. The only thing that can help us is coming back to our Lord's statutes and commandments. Keep going.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 13. Consider the work of the Most High, for who can make that straight which he hath made crooked?
Consider the work of the Most High, for who can make straight what the Most High has made crooked? What does this mean? What is this talking about?
It's talking about the oppressor. The Most High made the oppressor to be wicked. You understand? So you can't make him, unwicked. You can't change the nature of the oppressor because he was made that way.
So what does that say about you when you try?
Then I'm fighting against the Most High.
Good. That's exactly it. You're fighting against God. Really, I don't want to compare him and nature, but you're fighting against nature. The Most High made Esau with our oppressor with a specific nature, right? And you're fighting that. So you're fighting God, right? You look foolish. You look like a man trying to fight rain or trying to hit the wind when you try to push critical race theory. We're not against critical race. Now, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge is not against the teaching of critical race theory. I don't want to put that out there. If you can get your school or your district to teach what I know our people, definitely do it. I'm not even saying for white people. I'm saying it mainly, like I said earlier, our people need to know this. Right. A lot of our people do not know that in Florida, our babies were eaten by alligators, and that they used to uphold that like it was a good thing. A lot of our people do not know about Black Wall Street. That is something you have to be inside of, like Black education to really know about. If you aren't trying to educate yourself on Black history, you don't know about that. Right. Especially if you're going with the Esau's definition of it. Basically, you're a slave who gave us inventions. Because that's all it really is. Right? You're a slave who gave us inventions. Now, mind you, they'll give you a holiday, but they damn sure won't push that through. Now, mind you, here's the thing y'all got to understand. That's so funny. Juneteenth was unanimous. Meaning what? Every senator and congressman, well, I think it was only in the Senate they mentioned, every senator said, yes, we need Juneteenth, a federal holiday to celebrate Black people in this. But let's not create a holiday that will explain why we need to celebrate Black people. Why? Because our people are simple. We're happy with the song and dance. Matter of fact, since we already here, verse 7.
Verse 7. Surely oppression make a wise man mad.
Make a what mad?
A wise man mad.
Our people show Joe Biden and the rest of this country we are not wise, right? Because we sit here still trying to make what God made crooked straight. There is no fixing our oppressor, right? Because he's not broken. The white man isn't broken, you are. Right. You actually think in your mind you can fix this animal, who for 500 years has only ever oppressed you, right? Okay. Give me Zechariah 11 and 5.
Come on.
We need to find it myself. Oh, yeah, I already got it. Never mind. Keep going to read.
Zechariah chapter 11, verse 5. Who possessors slay them.
Whose possessors do what?
Slay them.
Whose possessors do what?
Slay them.
You don't hear this about the Jewish man. No one owns the Jewish man to be possessed, for him to be someone's possession. Right? We're in captivity though. Floyd Mayweather and our NFL players and our basketball players, because they get injuries too, right, are basically forced to live like a goddamn circus monkey in order to be powerful inside this country. Like, understand, you act like we're not a slave, but I go in certain corporations, they'll tell me to cut my hair. They'll tell me I have to look a certain way.
Right.
Right? Why? Because I'm a possession. And they require their possession to be a certain way.
Right.
Right? Keep going.
And hold themselves not guilty.
And hold themselves what?
Not guilty.
Not what?
Guilty.
What?
Guilty.
Okay, meaning what? We're so happy about Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin can be out in like 3 years, in a few years. He gets probation. No, he gets parole, Salaki, parole. And understand, people don't understand how that works. Like parole with good behavior. Let me explain something. You think Derek Chauvin's gonna be in Gen Pop? So he's gonna be in a cell by himself for 23 hours, right? With basically no contact, outside contact from everybody else. Now I have a question for you, Shaw. How much trouble can you get in by your lonesome?
No trouble, sir.
Like, he could mob off to a cop, but I find that very unlikely for an ex-cop. Right? So him getting parole is very, very likely. Yeah, no cop should be allowed parole. Unless it's under the most extreme of circumstances. Like, yeah, a cop shouldn't get parole, especially in a case like that, when he's automatically going to be away from everybody, so he wouldn't cause any trouble. Right? He'll easily get parole. Y'all think? You think the white man? No. Read 7 again. Oh, wait, Salaki, that you ain't in is Ecclesiastes. Oh, gift destroyeth the heart.
Right.
I should have had to read the end. But yeah, God, a gift destroys the heart. Keep going.
Oh, God. And they that seldom say, blessed be the Most High.
Blessed be the Most High. That's what Joe Biden says. That's what Kamala Harris says. Right? Blessed be God. Right? Keep going.
For I am rich.
For I am rich.
And their own shepherds.
Their own what?
Shepherd.
Their own what?
Shepherd.
What is your shepherd? God.
Shepherd is someone that looks out for the flock after the flock.
Right. Keep going.
Pity them not.
Pity them what?
Not.
What?
Not.
Their own shepherds don't even pity them. Right? Now, we're about to show something that happened in 2019 to a sister by the name of Anjanette Young. Right? Her house was accident. Well, I don't want to say accident. Her house was rated incorrectly, meaning they had the wrong address, right? And they raided this woman's house with a battering ram. We're not going to watch it because I don't even like hearing the woman screams and all that. Okay, but I'm going to give you the tidbits. Just so you know, the video is redacted. You will not be able to actually see the sister physically at any point in the video. The reason for this being, I'm going to tell you straight up, she's butt naked. This woman had just got off her job as a social worker, right? Meaning a city employee had her house busted in, right? While she was getting undressed, and they then quickly handcuffed her, put her to the side, would not let her put clothes on, and dealt with her as if nothing was wrong. Our oppressor is a disgusting beast.
That's right.
And you know exactly, they knew exactly what they was doing. That woman butt naked in the middle of her own goddamn house. Now this is them entering into the complex for the area. Like no time we wanted. But I understand, to my knowledge, they're not supposed to kill. They just said search warrant. And this ain't even worse. I know you remember the tank in LA. Yeah. That's just his butt naked right there. Hello. Make sure they can hear. See if anybody's online. If y'all can't hear, let me know. This woman is saying there's nobody here. I live alone. This woman is butt naked. You see how the camera's kind of messed up? Because she's in view. They have to redact it. They're not letting her do anything. They literally came in her house and handcuffed her out of nowhere. And to my knowledge, they have to show a warrant in your face immediately, to my knowledge. What? They did not. They waited about 5-6 minutes to give this woman a warrant. They might have some little, what's called, where they're allowed to get away from that. This woman is hysterical. They just ransacked her house in less than a minute, basically. And the sergeant, instead of saying, why don't we get her some clothes, doing all this, like, it don't take nothing but 2 seconds to go on this woman's dresser. Right. Get some pants, get a quick shirt, put it on her. I don't even care. If she's telling you got to keep it that way, just put the shirt on top of this and don't let her put the arms on. Right. Yeah, this is for our safety, but we gonna treat you with some dignity. They treated her with no dignity. Why? Because they do not care. No, you can keep it on there. Right. Because they do not care. Right. These cops already done realize we fucked up. Right. Because you can see it on his face. Everybody wasn't even looking for a Jake, I think. Might have been another lady. Might have been another trial. Because the way they look, they not even saying like this could be the mom, the girlfriend. They just like, nah, we completely fucked up. So that name must have probably been Jake Ramirez and it's a goddamn sister. Like, oh, we in the wrong house. And you see how hysterically crying because they know, yeah, this is the wrong house. And look, I know y'all probably can't see from Facebook, but the brother can show you, like, that brother just had a face on him, the devil just had a face on him, like, yeah, this can cost us our jobs. Right. There's a part that's on here that's not what's it called, but with everything with the warrant, because the sergeant, because basically, we covered this last week when I was teaching history. Basically, no, Hebrew. Basically how it works usually. The police build a case, I got a cat. Supposedly this was about guns. So he went to his chief, I got it in like the DA or whatever. I got a cat, moving guns, such address, so on and so forth. The DA and the cop, or maybe either whoever, goes to the judge, and the judge signs off on it. Technically, they physically need a warrant there to present to a person. But in certain cases, if it's like, I'm half building my case, but Sha'al knows I'm building the case, so I need to get there before he flushes everything and leaves the country. Yeah, I'm going to burst down your door, and I'm going to leave, Officer Shah's going to stay behind, and he'll be 10 minutes behind me with the warrant. So by the time I got you on the side, and you're like, yo, where the hell's the warrant? Officer Shah will come in, here's your warrant. Right. That's somewhat legal, but yeah, no. To my knowledge, this wasn't correct. I'm not a cop. I probably could have called Officer General Haas, but I didn't know. I found out about this on my way here. The reason I found out is because, well, we'll get to that in a second. Now this woman is still butt naked. I think they put a police jacket over her. Right, like, and they didn't even put it over to cover her breast. They put it on the backside. Right. Meaning her breasts are still exposed. They won't even let her make a phone call.
Nobody else lives here.
First of all, understand you would not do this to a white man,
Right.
a white person. The reason being is because the reason this country was created. Like, this country was created because British soldiers were forcing their way into colonist houses, and the colonists did not like that. We may be a part of your government, but we get no representation in here. So when y'all on the other side of the goddamn world say you're allowed to kick in the colonist doors, I get no say in that. F you. Matter of fact, you try to come in my house again, I'm gonna shoot you. And that led to the American Revolution and America. This very treatment, forcing your way inside of people's house. Why do you think we have a law that's, well, not necessarily, America has a law that says the right to bear arms? Right. John Muhammad brings it out all the time. That is not for your personal protection. That is for your personal protection against the government. Right. My supposed right to own a gun is so niggas can't do bullshit like this to me. Right. That is exactly, why do you think in upstate, I'm not even talking about downstate because we're not allowed to own a gun anyhow. Right. But upstate, where all a lot of white people live, they get away. You can have a shotgun in your crib. Why the house? Right. Why can't I have a shotgun in my car? That's very expensive. You know, I can have a $300,000 car. I can't keep a gun, what's called in there, in case somebody robs me. Why specifically the house? Because this country was invented, this country was created off the idea that no person, no matter who the hell they are, should be allowed to enter your house and do whatever the hell they want to you. Cool. This is a nation of liars that we're not a part of. Right. When I say you wouldn't do this to a white person, because they know full well you can't do this to a white person. This is a big class action lawsuit. The problem is she's one of us. Right. Critical race theory will not fix this. In 30 years, even if there are critical race theory, there will be white cops busting down her granddaughter's door. It's just these cops will know. You know, they used to treat black farmers bad. Oh, well, woman, get in that corner butt naked while we search your house for drugs and guns that aren't even here. What you've told us 20 times already.
Can I please call somebody?
They're refusing to even allow her to make a phone call. And what the fuck are they looking for?
Please let me call somebody. You're here to tell me what you're looking for. What are you looking
This woman is still butt naked. They're looking at her face, talking about while she's literally butt naked. She was asking if she's finally getting the warrant after like 4 or 5 minutes of it.
I don't care! You got the wrong house!
That's her address.
Yes! Who is you looking for? 4 years and nobody lives here but me! I don't have to shout! This is fuckery!
First of all, this is her house. Right. Talking about you don't have to shout. Y'all burst into her house for really no reason. Unwarranted. Right. But and I use that word for a reason.
You got me in handcuffs, I'm naked, you kicked me out!
You got me in handcuffs and I'm naked. They would not do that to a white woman. Right. They would, I can promise you, that would not happen to a white woman.
Oh. And I keep telling you, you got the wrong face! No, I don't want to hear it!
We're going to skip ahead a bit so we could.
And nobody's on this list but me.
Now, mind you, I don't know if y'all can see online. I'm not mistaken, there's a woman. There's a white woman, right? This is a white woman watching this other woman, this black woman, hysterically crying in a corner, butt naked, as she tells these cops for the 1 millionth time, and you can see the sergeant and the other officers believe the woman and understand we did get this wrong. Right? So this woman fully understands we're in the wrong house and we just handcuffed this woman while she's butt naked in the middle of the night. No expression on her goddamn face. No, Sarge, maybe can I go get her clothes and put some clothes on? This is the problem, and this is what you need to understand. This is why there can be no such thing as a good cop.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, a good cop cares about his job.
Right.
You know how a cop loses his job? Helping her.
Right.
That's how you lose your job. Right? You lose your job by helping this sister.
Right.
This woman would have opened her mouth, there would have been an investigation of her.
Right.
And even if there wasn't an investigation or anything, him, and anyone outside, because there was about 9 of them, right, would have never treated her right.
Right.
General has admitted, yeah, you do certain things, they will not send you back up.
Right.
There's a shootout. I need backup. No sweat, someone's coming. There will be no backup coming because you dared help a black woman.
Right.
Right? So I was just playing devil's advocate. More than likely, that's just some filthy, disgusting devil who does not care like any of them do.
Right.
Okay? Remember that the next time we hear about remember that anytime you question white people's love, they don't care. They will sit there and watch your mama butt naked in her goddamn living room after they discovered they have no purpose being there.
Right.
My son is 22.
So it's, give or take 8 minutes, they've been in this woman's house. She's still butt naked.
It's not here. You got the wrong place. Nobody by that name has ever been here. This is so fucking crazy. And I'm standing here naked. You take pictures of my house, and you won't let me talk about it. And I keep telling you, you got the wrong place. You got the wrong place. You got the wrong information.
Okay, now they just covered the white punk you see, they gave her a blanket. They gave her a blanket. This woman is in her home. Right? They couldn't grab 2 pieces of, I'm saying that, because they're going to talk about some, I don't know what's on it, so on and so forth, or she could have a weapon stashed in it. You can easily go on this one. You've already broken into our house. Go in you already see a shorty naked. What are you afraid of, seeing her panties? You already see her flower.
Right.
You already see the goddamn matrix.
Right.
There is nothing to hide.
Right.
Go inside the dresser, get a thing of pants. You're already gonna check the dressers anyway for the guns.
Right.
Find a thing of pants, check and see if there's any guns in it. Get a little loose shirt, put this on for 2 seconds. Have one of the female officer, I want to say another word, but goddamn, what's it called? Dress her.
Right.
2 seconds. It's 9 minutes in.
That's the wrong information. This is not right. This is so not right. You need to let me call somebody.
They're just now letting her get close.
This is wrong. I have nothing to do with whoever this person is you're looking for. And you can I just, oh my God, it's so crazy. Please let me put clothes on. Please make me.
She is literally begging to ask to put some clothes on.
Right.
In her own home.
I'm completely naked. I don't have underwear or anything up.
This woman does not even have on underwear right now. Like I said, they're seeing everything.
Right.
And you just left in the house like this, and now you ripped out dead parts.
Now we're finally, now mind you see the ponytail, so that is a woman.
Right.
That is a woman just standing there watching that woman be degraded like that.
Right.
In front of a group of men.
You never just ripped everything off the bed. I was standing there.
Seems like you're outside. Seems like you're outside.
Now, mind you, I'm not sure if that's the point, but you can turn back to me. I'm not sure if that's the part, but the sergeant ends up going to the cat who got the ones, like, I got to talk to you. Interestingly enough, the body cam shuts off like that. Interestingly enough, that's when the body camera shuts off. That should be illegal. That should really be illegal. If y'all have sensitive information that's sensitive to your department, I can understand that. Like, you don't want to give like certain people's names out or certain in-house protocols. I can to a point understand that. Well, to the protocols I can't really understand because those aren't supposed to be public knowledge to a point. But if it's sensitive information that will hurt the police department in catching actual criminals, I can understand that. Right. But you basically made an error in your work, and when explaining it to your superior, you and your superior get the bright idea to turn off the camera. No. Y'all should be in jail for that. Y'all should be paying for that. Y'all should have to pay for an off camera in a situation like that. You should do jail time in a situation like that. Because honestly, I would consider that falsifying evidence, falsifying government papers. Because that's government property you're dealing with. And that is technically, the minute you turn it on, or the minute you're doing your service and the camera's supposed to be on, that is a government record. You are falsifying government records when you turn off that camera. Drop that, give me Isaiah 14:1. Yeah, we're about to end off soon.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land.
So the Most High will choose who?
Israel.
No, we'll choose from the beginning.
For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob.
Sorry, that's my bad. The Most High is going to have mercy on this woman. And that's the point. Our people need to understand, we get mercy from God. And that's a beautiful thing, right? God is going to give us mercy. This woman probably eats all the pork she can find. Right. This woman probably eats all the shrimp, loves a seafood fest, like crab fest and shellfish, right? Yeah, and still, read that from the top.
For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob.
This woman will get mercy.
Right.
A time will come where this won't happen to this woman.
That's right.
But here's the beautiful thing. Keep reading.
And will yet choose Israel.
And he's going to choose this woman. He's going to choose this woman to never have to go through this again. Keep going.
And set them in their own land.
And he's going to set us in our own land. We won't have to deal with some devil kicking down our door, some oppressor kicking down our door, because we'll have our own land. That's with right. Our own government.
Right.
Who, if there is somebody illegally selling guns and we have the wrong house, you're putting clothes on. We will give you that dignity. First off, we wouldn't do that to a white woman. Right. Well, I don't even think we wouldn't do that to a white woman. We'll tell that disgusting dog, put some clothes on. Nobody wants to see you.
That's right.
So it's like, that shows an animal nature. You're supposed to serve and protect, but you out here in the middle of this woman's home, as she's irate crying, telling you are in the wrong home, butt naked, not giving a damn. Y'all looking her straight in her eyes, or eyes, quote unquote, right? Keep going.
So, if I may say, even with that, that's dealing with their own perversion, because they like seeing shit like that.
Yeah.
Disgusting. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
And the strangers shall be joined with them. Guess what? The stranger is these cops. A stranger entered this woman's house, but now the stranger is going to be cleaved to this woman. One day this woman will be in the kingdom, and she'll be a judge in the kingdom. And she'll be the one having brothers go in. Well, she won't be a judge in our kingdom. Right. But you understand what I mean? Right? She'll have the power, right, to have their doors kicked in.
Right.
While she'll do it to their mothers while they're butt naked. Right? Let's go. We will have them out butt naked at one point when we marching them into them slave ships.
Right.
And we got them on them auction blocks. Yeah, you'll be butt naked for that. Right? Because it won't even be sexual. I just need to know my property, if my property got any damages on it,
Right.
rashes and all that.
Right.
I don't want to see you naked. I just need to know I'm getting fair property.
Right.
You what's called get a fully clothed white man. What's called you bring him home to your physician. This nigga got 5 weeks to live. He like, yo, I gotta call General Muhammad. Salaki, I gotta Charles just saw me a defective white man. Like, shit. I gotta sue you, and then I get insurance money. I'll be good, but still. Salaki. That'd be hard to do because more than likely most insurance companies, when you get insurance, have a doctor there for stuff like that. But yeah. Come on. And that's what'll happen. Right? Keep going.
So in verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place.
We're going to take these people and bring them to our place, right? What's our place? Slavery.
Right.
A plantation. That's our place. Keep going.
And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Most High for servants and handmaids.
In the land of the Most High. In our land, we're going to own these cops. Keep going. For servants, hold up, for servants and handmaids. Right. So those bondmen and bondwomen that you saw in Deuteronomy,
right.
Now those same bondmen and bondwomen are going to own these people for servants and handmaids. Keep going.
And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were.
So we'll be able to kick down their doors and their mama's doors right after their mama gets off working for me. Right?
Right.
That's what's going to happen. And what do you need to understand about this? This is what you need to teach your children, not critical race theory.
Right.
Teach your children, this is what's called a payoff is not justice. This woman is right now begging a black, and I will repeat, a black mayor to give her justice for this.
Right.
Mind you, this happened in Chicago. Mayor Lori Lightfoot, initially lied and said, I had no idea about this. Then it comes out, she knew about it and blocked the video. She tried to stop this video from coming out. Not only that, but what else did she do? Like she repeatedly, she tried to block the video. Mind you, this is a goddamn lesbian. And for all y'all that want to support Pride, understand this. The LGBTQ hates our people.
Right.
And when you love LGBTQ, you hate our people too.
That's right.
She would never allow this to happen to some homosexual.
Right.
No homosexual would allow this to happen.
Right.
I believe if that woman lied and said she was a lesbian and my girlfriend was just happened to be at work, this woman would have her money already.
Right.
Right? But because she's just a nigger like the rest of us, Lori Lightfoot does this. I should have put her in the in the hashtags. Salakia. Okay? And that's what happens. Okay? We're going to have to take the captive of these people. And then guess what? Lori Lightfoot won't be able to own a slave.
Right.
Lori Lightfoot will be this woman's janitor.
That's right.
Lori Lightfoot will fix this woman's dinner. Okay? Women like Lori Lightfoot, will be at the bottom of our society for the evil she's committed to our people. Read verse 3.
And they shall rule over their oppressors.
And they shall rule over their oppressors. We're going to rule over the people that beat us and hurt us. Right? Keep going.
Verse 3. And it shall come to pass in a day that the Most High shall give thee rest from thy sorrow.
The Most High is going to give you rest from your sorrow. What does that mean?
He's going to give us rest from this oppression that we're living in.
Rest from our sorrow. Right? Keep going.
And from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve.
And in the hard bondage thou was made to serve. Meaning you're not going to have to deal with this anymore. You won't have to deal with critical race theory or the things that cause critical race theory to need to be taught. Right? Read verse 6.
Verse 6. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke.
Meaning these cops, these senators, these lawyers, these congressmen, all the people that have harmed our people, right? Keep going.
He that ruled the nations in anger.
He that ruled the nations in anger, right? Keep going.
Is persecuted and none hindereth.
Is persecuted and none hindereth. What does that mean? Persecuted and none hindereth.
he's going to be dealt with, and nobody's going to be able to save him.
Not necessarily save him. No one shall be able to save. Not about able to save him. What does it mean?
No one will interfere with him being judged.
Meaning, just like no one cares about Eric Garner, George Floyd, and so on and so forth, no one's going to care about what happens to him, about what happens to our oppressor. Our oppressor is going to get the same treatment that Miss Young got. We're going to get one last, well, really two. Revelations 13 and 9. We're going to do this quick, though. There's the end. Critical race theory does not help our people. Will it help educate our people that our oppressor is the devil? Yes. Will it help our oppressor to be nicer to us? Hell no. Critical race theory will not get rid of racism. Because there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with the white man's racism. He was built to be racist.
Right.
He will always hate us. Our job is to just stay away from him. Just like there's nothing wrong with the bear, there's nothing wrong with the white man, with our oppressor. Keep going, read.
Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Okay, we come out to teach this. If you have heard anything I've said today, if you can hear it, then hear this. Right? That's what this is saying. If you have an ear to hear what I'm saying. Listen to this. Keep going.
Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
He that what?
He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity.
If you go about and you steal a man and selleth him, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. A man's going to take you and sell you. Now, for those who may be asking, I'm going to answer because I got this question one time. The second captivity is just, because there's one instance where I take you, right, forcibly take you, put you in a place, right, and hold you there for whatever time I say fit, so to speak, right? And that's called kidnapping. There's another time where I take you, put you in an area, and hold you in that area for whatever time period I want to. You know what that's called, y'all? What?
Slavery.
No. I'm going to take, there's two types of, what's called? I'm going to take you by force, right? Put you in an area, and you can't leave until I say so. One is kidnapping. What's the other? Why are we putting them? Okay, no, because I'll give you one shot. What's the other? You don't know? I'll give you for time's sake. An arrest. I'm going to take you by force, put you in an area, and you can't leave until I say so. One is kidnapping, one's an arrest. You kidnapped me. So now, in the time when I'm the judge, I'm going to have you arrested. I'm going to call for your arrest, and I'm going to pronounce a judgment. You know what your judgment is? Slavery. You have to pay, but it's a different type of slavery. My slavery that I'm going to give you is for everything I lost when you originally kidnapped me, and then everything I would have had if you had paid me my right wages. That's justice, not really even enslavement. That's what the system needs. The system needs justice. Our people, during the critical race theory in 1619, need justice. A class inside of your high school and inside of your college and inside of your elementary school is not justice. Our oppressor in chains is justice. Keep going.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. That's what has to happen to our oppressor. He has to face death for the evil that he did to our people. God is not satisfied with the 22.5 years that they're choking God. Even if he does, or 22.5 years, their children should be dead.
God.
In the eyes of God, that's the punishment. We keep reading.
Here is the patience.
The what?
The patience.
The what?
The patience.
The patience. Keep going.
And the faith of the saints.
The reason you should not go out, because this is these situations, when you see things like this, it makes our people angry and want to do violent things. Why shouldn't you? Because if you can fight that urge and fight your flesh, you can own all 9 of those white people that I thought it was a good idea to have that woman butt naked in her own house crying. Right? And with that, I'll pass the class over to Police and Officer Shaw. Way too high.